Are you truly living, or just a habit that breathes? You can go to work, pay your bills, post your morning coffee on Instagram and still not be alive. You can laugh, show up to birthday parties, answer emails and still be nothing more than a hollow body running a background program called being human. So let's ask the only question that matters right now. Are you living or just existing? Don't answer too quickly, because your brain will jump in with the safe response, "Of course I'm alive, I'm breathing, aren't I?" But let's pause, really pause, and flip the question. When was the last time you felt genuinely moved by something? When did you last feel nervous excitement over something that hasn't even happened yet? Are you living for yourself, or just trying to keep your life from falling apart? Here's the harsh truth. Most people don't realize when they've silently switched from living to surviving. It's like your phone going into low power mode. You're still functioning, but everything's dimmer, slower, and a little lifeless. Psychologists call this emotional blunting, when your brain, trying to protect you from emotional pain, ends up numbing everything, including joy. A study from Columbia University found that over 72% of adults in major cities report feeling disconnected from themselves at least once a week. Not sad, not angry, just empty. And that emptiness, that's the real danger, because it doesn't scream, it doesn't cry. It just sits there, quiet, while your routine plays on like a well-rehearsed script. Here's a quick test. If you can't remember what you ate yesterday, who you talked to, or how you felt all day, you're not really living. You're processing input. Now, if that truth stings a little, good, because dead people don't feel pain. Pain is proof that you're still alive. It's a signal, and it means there's still time to change. Living doesn't require jumping out of airplanes or moving to Iceland. It starts with a much smaller, braver act. Feeling again. It's sitting in silence without reaching for your phone. It's saying, "I'm not okay," and not apologizing for it. It's choosing presence over autopilot. Real life doesn't scream. It whispers. It leaks in through the cracks of your numbness if you let it. And the best part? You don't need all the answers. You just need to start asking better questions. Because truly, living always begins with one, like this one. Are you really alive? Or just breathing out of habit? Why you don't feel alive even when nothing is wrong? Imagine this. You're standing in a crowd. Music is playing. People are laughing. Everything looks normal, even fun. But inside, you feel nothing. Not sad, not broken, just flat. Like your emotions got left behind in another room, and you're stuck watching life through a window. That's numbness. And it's more common than you think. See, most people think the opposite of happiness is sadness. It's not. The real opposite of happiness is numbness. It's when you're not feeling anything deeply enough to matter. You might be thinking, but my life's not bad. I have a job. I pay rent. I see my friends. What's wrong with me? Here's the twist. Nothing is wrong. That's part of the problem. Modern life is full of soft distractions and fake comforts. You scroll for hours. You reply, haha, when you don't laugh. You say, I'm tired. But it's not your body, it's your spirit that's exhausted. Your brain has learned to flatten the curve of emotion to avoid the bad, yes, but at the cost of also muting the good. This isn't just poetic, it's neuroscience. When your brain is overwhelmed, it protects you by dulling your emotional response across the board. That's called emotional regulation fatigue, and it's like turning down the volume on life itself. Think of it like wearing noise-cancelling headphones all day. Yeah, it's quieter, but you also can't hear the music when it finally starts. Here's another hard truth. Sometimes, the reason you feel numb is because you're living a life that looks good on the outside, but starves you on the inside. Maybe you picked the safe career instead of the scary one that excited you. Maybe your days are so overscheduled there's no space left for wonder. Maybe you stopped asking why and started only asking, what's next? And look, none of that makes you weak. It just makes you human in a world that rewards performance more than presence. But here's where the shift begins. Start noticing. Notice the micro moments when you feel something, a lyric that hits, a sunset that slows you down, a conversation that makes you pause. These are your breadcrumbs out of the numbness. They won't be loud, but they're real, and they're enough to begin. Because healing isn't about flipping a switch. It's about feeling one thing again and realizing you can. So no, you're not broken, you're just numb. And numbness isn't permanent if you're willing to notice your way out. How your comfort zone is quietly suffocating your soul. Let's get weird for a second. Your brain? Yep, the 3-pound jelly inside your skull doesn't actually care if you're happy. Its number one job? Keep you alive. Not inspired, not fulfilled, not living your best life. Just not dead. Which is why your brain loves the comfort zone. It loves routine, sameness, predictability. It would rather you be miserable and safe than joyful and at risk. Now think about that. Your own brain, your ride or die, your default co-pilot might be the one quietly convincing you to stay small, stay stuck, stay fine. And fine is the scariest word in the English language. It's the polite word for slowly dying inside. The science backs it up. Studies from the University of Toronto show that predictable routines actually lower dopamine production over time. That means the more your days look exactly the same, the less your brain gets chemically excited about anything. It's like watching the same episode of your life on repeat, but the laugh track gets quieter each time. You might be thinking, but I need stability. I can't just blow up my life to feel alive. And you're right. You don't need to quit your job or move to a cabin in the woods. But you do need to challenge your brain's obsession with certainty. Because the truth is, certainty is comfortable, but it kills your spirit. And discomfort when chosen on purpose is where life breathes again. That discomfort might look like taking a class in something you're awful at, saying no to the thing everyone expects you to say yes to, walking a different way home and noticing what your brain usually ignores. These tiny risks are micro-revolutions. They remind your nervous system that you're not here to just survive. You're here to create, to explore, to expand. And the best part? You don't have to be fearless to do it. You just have to be curious enough to try. Because if you only ever do what feels safe, you'll never feel what it's like to truly come alive. So yeah, comfort might feel good. But growth? Growth feels like freedom. Why small joys aren't small at all. They're your way back to life. Let's talk about toast. Yeah, toast. Not fame, not fortune, not finding your soul's purpose. Just a crispy, buttery slice of bread, perfectly golden, eaten while sitting on your kitchen floor in yesterday's t-shirt. Because sometimes, that is what being alive feels like. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that life has to be big to matter. That living fully means booking flights, chasing huge dreams, or having a 5-year plan that makes your LinkedIn connections weep with envy. But what if that's wrong? What if real, vibrant, soul-deep living isn't found in the grand gestures, but in the tiny sparks you barely noticed before? Neuroscience has something to say about this. Dr. Laurie Santos, Yale professor and host of the Happiness Lab, teaches that micro moments of delight, not big life events, have a compounding effect on well-being. Translation? The little joys you think don't matter actually matter the most. We're talking the smell of rain on hot pavement, a stranger holding the door without expecting a thank you, that one song you forgot you loved showing up on shuffle. These moments are like emotional kindling. They don't set your whole life on fire, but they spark enough to remind you the flame isn't dead. And you don't need to earn them. You don't need to be productive first. Joy isn't a reward, it's a reminder. But here's the catch. If you're waiting for some big breakthrough before you allow yourself to feel good again, you're going to miss 99% of the reasons life is still worth it. Your brain is wired to ignore what feels familiar. So joy takes practice. It takes intentional noticing, like training a mental muscle to recognize, pause, and say, "Hey, that was nice." That's it. Not life-changing, not groundbreaking, just nice. And when you stack enough of those moments together, you build a life that feels rich, even if it looks quiet. So no, you don't need to fix your whole life to feel alive again. You just need to chase the sparks. Because sparks are how fires start. And fire is how we know something's alive. So the next time joy knocks, even if it's tiny, even if it's dumb, open the damn door. How adulthood slowly erases wonder and how to take it back. When you were 5, you probably wanted to be an astronaut, or a rock star, or maybe a dinosaur. No one told you that was unrealistic. No one laughed. You just dreamed and believed it could happen. Then you grew up. And now? You dream about early retirement, about a Sunday without emails, about maybe someday doing that thing you said you'd do 5 years ago. So what happened? Adulthood. Responsibility. Fear disguised as maturity. Bit by bit, you traded imagination for invoices, wonder for workflow, curiosity for calendar invites. And before you realized it, you stopped dreaming. Not because you stopped wanting things, but because the world trained you to stop asking for them. Here's the kicker. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called dream suppression, when your brain literally stops generating future possibilities because it sees no safe path forward. In short, your mind stops wandering if it believes wandering leads to pain. But dreaming is not a luxury. It's a biological need. MRI studies show that when people visualize a compelling future, their brains light up in the same areas activated by dopamine, the feel-good chemical that gives life its zing. So if you feel numb, flat, uninspired, it's not laziness. It might be that you haven't let yourself dream in years. Now, before you pack your bags and move to Bali, let's get one thing straight. Dreaming doesn't mean dropping everything. It means letting your inner voice speak louder than the noise. It might sound like, what if I wrote that book? What if I started running again? What if I built something just because I want to, not because it's practical? You don't have to have a full plan. You just have to say, what if? More often. That 2-word question is a flashlight. It doesn't show the whole road, but it shows the next few steps. And sometimes, that's all you need to feel alive again. So ask yourself, when did I stop imagining what else could be? And then ask the better question, what would I dream about if I wasn't afraid of being disappointed? Because the version of you who dares to dream again, that's the version who starts to truly live. How to stop surviving inside your own head and start living out loud. Let's eavesdrop for a second. Not on someone else, on you. You wake up, check your phone, and somewhere in the background, a voice says, "You're already behind." You pass a mirror. "Oh, this again?" You scroll social media. Why does everyone else seem to have it together? That voice? That's your inner script. And most of the time, it's running on autopilot. It sounds like you, but, spoiler alert, you didn't write it. It was stitched together from years of comparison, rejection, criticism, and a few bad report cards back in middle school. Over time, it becomes the story you live inside. Not a happy one. Not a brave one. Just one where you cope, you manage, you function. But here's the wild part. You can edit the script. No, not by reciting cheesy affirmations in the mirror until your reflection rolls its eyes, but by noticing the story you're telling yourself and then changing one line at a time. Example? Instead of, "I'm lazy," try, "My energy is trying to tell me something. Maybe I need to listen, not push." Instead of, I'm not good at this, try. I'm a beginner, and beginners suck until they don't. Neuroscience confirms that how we talk to ourselves literally rewires the brain. This is called self-directed neuroplasticity, and it means you can train your mind to support your life, not sabotage it. But here's the secret. It only works if the new script is believable. So don't go from "I suck" to "I'm a unicorn." Go from "I suck" to "I'm struggling, but that's part of the process." Realness over rainbows. Always. And here's a tip most people skip. Say it out loud. Seriously, hearing your voice say something kind, even awkwardly, activates more parts of your brain than just thinking it. Think of it as rehearsal. Not for a play, for your actual life. Because if you keep narrating your days like a tragedy, you'll miss the part where the hero gets up and changes everything. So grab the pen, rewrite the script, and for once, let the main character actually win. A story of rock bottom and the climb back up. Let me tell you a story. It's not about someone famous, no TED Talk, no viral comeback, just a guy named Marcus. Marcus used to be high-functioning miserable. From the outside, good job, solid paycheck, friendly smile. But inside, he felt like he was sinking in slow motion day after day, like life was happening to him, not with him. The weird part? Nothing bad had happened. No big tragedy, no dramatic collapse, just slow erosion, like life had quietly drained the color from everything. One morning, Marcus sat in his car for 27 minutes after pulling into the office parking lot. Not crying, not panicking, just sitting, staring at the steering wheel, wondering how the hell this became normal. That was the day something snapped. Not in a violent way, but in a no more pretending kind of way. He didn't quit his job. He didn't run off to the mountains. He just did one small thing. He told the truth to one person. "I feel like I'm disappearing," he said to a friend. And that was the turning point. Why? Because naming your pain is how you take your power back. It's not weakness, it's signal transmission. It's how the body stops whispering and starts healing. Marcus started walking every day, no headphones, no phone, just him and the sidewalk. He started writing things down. Little things, like, "Today, I actually noticed the sky was pink." He started being curious instead of cruel toward himself. It wasn't magical, it wasn't fast, but slowly, the colors came back. Here's what Marcus learned. You're not broken, you're just buried. Buried under obligations, self-judgment, and years of thinking you have to have it all together. But buried things aren't dead. They're waiting. You might be Marcus, or maybe you're the friend someone needs to talk to. Either way, don't underestimate what one honest sentence can do. It doesn't fix everything, but it cracks the shell. And cracks let the light in. So if you're sitting in your own version of that parking lot today, know this. You're not alone, you're not weak, and most importantly, you're not done. Because someone, someday, might need your example to keep going. Picture this. Years from now, someone you've never met is in a dark place. They feel stuck, tired, like the world has pressed pause on their soul. And then somewhere, somehow they hear your story. Not the polished one, not the "I crushed it" version. The real one, the messy middle. The part where you wanted to give up, but didn't. And that story, it helps them stand up. Here's the truth. Nobody tells you. You don't have to be extraordinary to be inspiring. You just have to live like it matters. Because it does. Every choice you make to stay present instead of checked out matters. Every time you pause before the spiral hits matters. Every moment you notice beauty instead of scrolling past, it matters. Not because you'll win awards for it, but because it's how you prove to yourself, "I am here, I am alive, I am still choosing." And when you choose to really live, Even in small, unglamorous ways, you create a ripple. People notice, even if they never say it out loud. Your younger self is watching too. The kid who used to dream. The version of you that still believes in something more. Live in a way that makes them proud. So here's the final push. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the right mood, the bigger paycheck, the green light from the universe. That's just your fear in costume, playing dress up as logic. Start with what you have. Right here, right now. Say the thing, do the thing, feel the thing. You were not born to pay bills and lose your spark. You were born to be fully awake in your own story. To live like your life might be someone's survival manual one day. So go. Live like you'll be quoted. Because someone, someday, will need your words to remind them what being alive really looks like. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this in the future. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss them.